You're listening to Madmen Sports, sponsored by Black Button Distilling. My favorite drink from Black Button is the apple pie moonshine.
Every week, baby.
Every week, and it's going to stay the same until I find something different. I'll be hard-pressed, I'll be honest. Dave.
It's a seasonal favorite, too.
Apple pie moonshine, the best.
I didn't even know I was going to ask you that,
Seasonal
but hey.
favorite.
There you go. We know you like the 4 grain.
4 grain bourbon, baby.
I'm back, guys. Sorry about last week.
Yeah, we have Diamond Dave in the building, of course, myself, Jake, and Zach. Madmen Sports here to break down today's game.
Bills.
31-13 loss against the Philadelphia Eagles.
Tough one.
Still a good day, though, guys.
Is it?
World's not falling apart.
Is it not?
It is not.
You're going to have 2 schools of thoughts on this podcast. And
There's going to be some arguing.
it's not going to be arguing. It's just going to be, we can't ignore this forever. And you know what? They're 5-2, and that's what it is. But you can't ignore this forever. Jake, come on.
They are not a good 5-2 team.
We can't. We do this podcast week after week. We get excited. Obviously, we're excited. They were 5-1 last week. We can't keep ignoring these things. And, we bring it up small, and we just say, well, a win's a win. They don't ask how, they ask how many. That's a big motto that I have. We 1 week at a time here at Madmen Sports. Big motto that we go. We can't keep ignoring some of these problems. And you know what? Brandon Beane and Sean McDermott can't keep ignoring some of these problems. But
What problems are you talking about?
we'll take care of that later.
Oh, we all know you know.
Jake, instant reaction.
Stuff I've been
Give me
talking
one word, and this is on the spot, one word of your experience today of the Buffalo Bills.
Surprising.
Surprising.
I didn't think that we would have played as poorly as we did. Our run defense, specifically, we let Jordan Howard and Miles Sanders run all over us today. Maybe the numbers don't show it, but you could just tell they dominated that game.
Dave, one word, and then explain it.
Worrisome. I think some of the flares in the defense are starting to show. I think that losing Kyle Williams last year and Harrison Phillips is starting to hurt the run game, and there is 0 pass rush on this team. I know people are going to comment saying the Bills had 4 sacks, but there's 0 person that scares a quarterback on this team. No pass rusher on this team that scares anyone.
What about you, Zach?
My takeaway is, my one word is finally, and that doesn't make any sense, but finally they were smacked in the face to the point where, all right, okay, they skated past some wins, 5 to be exact, and they barely lost to the Patriots. We can finally break the back of the, cardiac kids here. They got their ass whooped against the Eagles today. Finally, this is kind of just me being this is me being my most fan. This is me at my most fandom. Is finally they got their ass kicked, so that right before the trade deadline, they can make a move and have something happen finally. Like, this team is not put together well. We've been saying it since August. Now they're when I say not put together well, I don't mean it well. There's holes like pass rush, and right tackle has been a revolving door, literally, for the defensive line, and having players stand in there as a starter. It's been a revolving door. Wide receiver, you still need a number 1 guy. We went through it all in August. John Brown's been a stud. He was great today. 5 catches, 50 yards. Him and Michael Thomas are the only guys still with 50 yards in every single NFL game this year. That's great.
Yeah, that's a great stat.
Absolutely. But there's holes on this team. And finally, hopefully, they got punched in the face today. And hopefully the front office, the team, the locker room, whatever, can look at themselves and not feel like they're getting, they're not taking the, oh, well, we won, so who cares? Or the, well, it's a moral victory because it was the Patriots and it was only 6 points. There was no moral victory today. There was no, well, at least it was a win today. You got punched in the mouth. A team that had their backs against the wall came into your stadium on a rainy, cloudy Sunday and punched you in the face in front of your fans and some other fans. Like, this was Fox's biggest game today. There was a 1 o'clock slate, biggest game. Everyone saw that. Everyone saw you for the fraud 5-1 team that the national media keeps calling you. Am I right or wrong? You hear it.
I think you're wrong.
But no, I didn't ask you. I was talking to Jake. Jake, you see the power rankings. You know they're not getting respect. You talked about that tonight. Their power rankings say they're 5-1, right?
Yeah, of
Well,
course.
they're standings too, but they're 5-1. And where are they in the power rankings?
Yeah,
Dog
I don't-
shitted, right?
Oh yeah, I don't know the exact number, but
Yeah, but I mean it's all
between
over the
10
board.
and 15.
But not where a 5-1 team belongs. That's for sure. So they got punched in the mouth, and now it's time to either pick up your ball, go home. You're 5-2 now. You're gonna probably have a good chance to win at home next week, and you probably have a pretty easy schedule. But now that you faced a team that had their backs against the wall, fighting for their season, this proves to me that the Bills weren't playoff ready, and not that the Bills needed to act like this was a playoff game. But there's going to be a time where there's teams fighting and scratching and clawing for positioning in the playoffs, whether or not they're still in the hunt or not in the playoffs. They're going to face those AFC teams in November and December. We only have one more October game. Actually, it's not even an October game. This was our last October game. It's November and December football from here on out. You got a team that had their back against the wall looking to save their season. And you got punched in the mouth, ran up the gut. Like, this team hit you hard. How do you recover? Do you make a move? Do you have something happen here? What is next is for the Bills now. They need to worry about the game, but obviously you need to take into account what's next for this team. Am I wrong?
No, you're definitely not, and I think this might have a positive effect on the Bills too.
Exactly.
You get
Finally.
knocked in the mouth, as you said. You now know that you are not some perennial all-star team. You have an elite defense, sure, but there are a lot of problems that still need to be fixed, specifically on this offense. And I think internally they are aware of that now, that they can't beat every team they come across.
Exactly, and I said it after the Miami game when people were upset that they only won by the amount they won, 10 points. This isn't the Patriots.
No.
This isn't the Peyton Manning Colts. This is a team that won 5 games last year. To expect them to blow anyone out at home, no matter if this team doesn't... Like, you got a 1-win team coming in here as Washington next week. You can't expect to blow that team out just because their record's bad. This team is a 10-win team out of the last 2 seasons. They have 10 wins. Like, that's not an accomplishment. This is a team that has a checkered past. The last 20 years, they've been very, very mediocre, if not bad. And now you're in year 1 of your offense, year 2 of your quarterback. You are learning your identity. Either you step up and start playing, or you get railroaded like you did today. This was a deep pass defense that was terrible, wounded, and dead duck. And what happened? They make a big play. Ronald Darby ends the game for you as breaking up a pass against John Brown. Because, I mean, this is a deep, deep dive into what was wrong with today's game. But, I mean, I saw a quarterback that's in a second year making one read on most of his passes. I saw an offensive line that gave him time on some plays and a right side of the line that didn't help. I mean, there's flaws on this team. You're not going to fix them overnight, but you need to find solutions.
Yeah, I think the Cody Ford project needs to be over. I mean, he's just not moving his feet fast enough. He's showing that he's getting blown past defensive ends. I mean, definitely can't have him at tackle. I mean, I guess there's an argument to be had. You put him at guard, but I don't even trust him there. I think you just have to let him sit for the rest of the year and kind of learn behind.
He definitely needs a break, whether it's the rest of the year or not.
He got hurt today a little bit, didn't he? Came back in or something.
I can talk.
I mean, if you want, you're always welcome to talk. I know you missed a podcast, but you're still here, David.
I completely got. I sit on this podcast the last couple times, and I've said
Is Cody Ford hurt or not?
Bills fans are the most impatient fans in the world. When we win, we're
Cody
going
Ford
to Super.
hurt?
Yes, he's hurt. He's hurt his shoulder. When we win, we're going to the Super Bowl. When we lose, sky's falling. I think Bills have to relax a little bit. Good teams do lose games. I do think we're a good team. I think there are flaws. I think the weather was awful. I think today my problem with the whole game was, again, play calling. We treated like today was an 80-degree day. We did not run the ball at all. I know you guys are going to sit here until you're blue in the face and say we did. We didn't. We didn't run the ball at all.
Did.
Singletary wasn't even used till second half. Frank Gore gets taken out of the game by the coach's decision because they just don't even use him.
You just contradicted yourself. You said Singletary wasn't used in the game, and then you said they take Frank Gore out.
I said Singletary wasn't used till second half.
And then you said they take Frank Gore out.
Frank Gore wasn't used at all. And when they do, they still do the stupid design plays where Josh Allen runs the ball.
You have to have
I know you're going to
those.
say he's an asset, but he's not going to be anything when he's hurt.
I think he's had
So-
3 designed runs this game.
which is still too many.
I
it's not.
don't think so.
He's your
when you
best
have-
playmaker.
You have Frank Gore,
It's
who gets
almost not
positive
enough.
yards every single time he runs the ball.
That was not true today.
People, they're just not running the ball.
You played the number
Bills
6
game
pass
plan
defense,
today was
rush
awful.
defense in the league. You played the number 6 pass defense.
And the Bills played like they were scared of it.
And the worst pass defense.
The play
Exactly.
the play calling spoke as if they were scared of it. They didn't run the ball at all today. They were scared of it. They wanted to just use Josh Allen just chucking around like the wind wasn't even a factor today. They just ignored the whole weather.
I mean, when you have a cannon like that, I didn't really see any of his balls be affected by the wind too much. Zach, did you?
No, not enough of them to be worried about it.
Yeah, I think if you have a big
so you
cannon
guys
like
are
that.
completely happy with the play calling today, and that's not a factor at all.
No, but I don't think that the lack
I'm okay
of
with the
running
play calling
being an issue.
needing
I believe you're
needing
one of the only
needing
ones
help.
that is.
No, you need help with the play calling. That's definitely a problem. But your analysis of the play calling is wrong. They did run today. It wasn't working.
See, what the Eagles did was they took the lead, and then they had a 7-minute drive by just running the ball, and it ended up working. They won the game because they had Jordan Howard and Miles Sanders who ended up getting hurt, just controlling the rest of the game today.
Yep.
They said Carson Wentz, don't do much because the weather sucks.
Our first 3 series, we didn't move the ball 20 yards. Those were all runs. We couldn't run the ball. Why are we going to continue to run the ball if it's not working?
Nothing was working today.
I
the
would
pa-
definitely have to say that the pass game definitely was more successful than the run.
Which nothing working today brings me back to my point where you need to evaluate what's going on right now, and if you want to contend for playoffs, you want to get a playoff win, you want to try for a Super Bowl, you need to get in here and you need to find one more playmaker to add to this team, whether it's listen, and I hate being the guy that says trade, trade, trade. I see it all over the message boards. Trade for this guy, trade for this guy. Oh, I heard this guy stubbed his toe and is not happy with the training room now. Like, I hate being that guy. But Brandon Beane, throughout the years that he's been here, has proven that he's willing to wheel and deal. This is your time, man. Wheel and deal. This is your moment. You got a 5-2 team that's probably going to stare down the barrel at least for most of the game next week at 6-2. Whether they win or not, as remains to be seen. This team has never had a convincing win this season. The last convincing win was against the Dolphins in Week 17 last year. I mean, this team hasn't been able to punch anyone in the mouth, but today they got punched in the mouth. So now you need to stop and think, what does that team do well, and what do they have that I don't have? And Howie Roseman is a guy that's done nothing but bring in talent. Alshon Jeffrey got. Jordan Howard got. You go out and you get those guys through, whether it's signing them, free agency, or trading for them. You go and get playmakers. You got to get playmakers.
What move do you make?
That's where I hate being the guy. I don't want to say, go get Stephon Diggs, go get AJ Green. That's because you're probably not going to get one of those guys. You're not going to wake up on Tuesday morning or something like that, and you're going to see that the Bills traded for Julio Jones. You're not going to see that. It's going to be a mid-tier guy. And that mid-tier guy is probably going to make more of an effort, more of a difference on this team than some of the guys they do have. Duke Williams is a very fun story to listen to, but he's not a guy that's going to actually... It's not an accident why this guy wasn't in the NFL for 2 years. Like, he didn't wake up one day and was like, I'm an NFL caliber starting wide receiver all of a sudden. He's got talent, and he's not bad. He's just... You need to have a better third wide receiver than him. Isaiah McKenzie's small. You need a guy that's going to make more plays than him. Mohamed Sanu for a second-round pick is a ridiculous amount of haul. But he's got talent. He's got proven ability in the NFL. He's got size. He's got speed. He can... Never mind. I was going to say he could throw the ball, but you don't want him doing that. But he's a guy that can make it play. So when you think about it, yeah, it's a second-round pick. That's a lot. But also, that's a guy that could probably make an immediate impact on most rosters in the NFL right now. And, people say Josh Gordon's going to be free in 2 weeks. Everyone's fired. I mean, if you don't bring in a trade guy and you don't at least evaluate or at least kick the tires on Josh Gordon, what are you doing then? Because then you're just saying that you're going to settle for a mediocrity team this year. And just, okay, well, we have more than 5 wins. That's better than last year. That's good enough for me. You gotta make this team either a contender or not right now. Like, the AFC sucks this year so hard.
So bad.
Well, I agree that you need to make a move. I don't know what that move's going to be. It's not that easy to just throw draft picks away because then you're committing to the player and you have to sign the player because they're free for a reason. So it's a little harder than that to make a move for a top-tier player like AJ Green or a Keenan Allen or any kind of those players. Or Mike Evans for that matter. But the Bills need to do something, whether it's a pass rusher or an offensive tackle. They need to make some sort of move to change things up here because there needs to be a fire lit under the offensive ass. Because after the bye week, we should be like fresh and ready to go. We're going downwards ever since the Dolphins game.
The Dolphins game wasn't anything to hang your hat on either. That game sucked.
That was bad.
Listen, this is out of the bye week. You got skinnier teeth after the Dolphins game. You get Philadelphia coming in, second straight home game. Their third straight road game. You get punched in the mouth. I mean, at what point is this offense going to nut up? And, I hear people say, like, oh, man, when is this offense going to explode? Why would you ever think that this offense is going to explode? Why do you think this offense is ready to explode at any point? This is what this offense is. Dip and dunk. You got Cole Beasley as your big offseason guy. That guy's a short, medium-range wide receiver.
It's the same thing I said before the season started. Our receivers aren't just good enough. We don't have a very good running game. It's the same thing we've been talking about, and none of it's been fixed. Everyone's been excited for Cole Beasley, John Brown, because they had a good offseason, but they really haven't scared any defenses. John Brown's had a couple good games here and then. He's got a diamond. The defense is still great. Defense had a bad second half today. Other than that, defense is still great. Defense is still probably one of the best in the league.
I think people are figuring out the defense.
I think that we
hard.
rely on the defense too much, and that's part of the problem. The offense relies on the defense way too much to go out there and win the game. Eagles should not have scored 31 points on the Bills' defense today. That's pathetic.
Yeah, our run defense was just atrocious.
Over pursuing killed the Bills' defense.
I think there's a lot of holes on the run defense, and then they saw it.
Over pursuing set up all those screens that Miles Sanders had. Over pursuing set up the middle of the field. I mean, they were just able to catch guys running past them and then able to throw it up. I mean, Carson Wentz had that game ending pretty much. First down when Shaq Lawson decided to go with the running back when he had a guy covering the flat coverage. He decided to go with the running back to double cover the running back.
Oh, that run he had?
And then had Carson Wentz just run right up the middle of the field. I mean, just stay gap sound. It's not hard. It's very simple. There's a reason why Shaq Lawson isn't getting his fifth-year option. There's a reason why he isn't, this stud guy that everyone talks about. There's a problem with these defensive ends and these pass rush and the defensive line. It's mounting, and we don't talk about it because there's 7 games and they only have 2 losses. And, that's something everyone, even in Buffalo, like, listen, you could be the most diehard fan. If you don't see problems on this team, you're just swallowing it and putting it away because you think that you're just blind at that point. You're just not willingly thinking about the problems that they have. You can't be blind to the fact that this team has holes. This team's got problems. This team has almost emergency needs at certain positions. The offensive coordinator does need to change the play calling. There's problems that people need to wake up and either they need to address, need to come to grips with, or else you're going to be a delusional Bills fan that's just happy that they have 5 wins.
That's a lot to take in there, David, huh?
I mean, I agree for the most part. I think the offensive play calling is the Achilles heel right now. I think the defense is going to continue to be great. I'm going to repeat that again. I think the Eagles are a good team. I think Miles Sanders is a heck of a player. Carson Wentz is one of the top 10 quarterbacks in the league. I think the Eagles are a good team. Bills got dominated today in the second half. Bills were the better team in the first half today. Other than that, I don't think it's a sky falling situation. I think the Bills will. When the schedule came out, we knew the Eagles were going to be a tough team. We still have the easy games that we knew we had that we talked about 3 weeks ago with the Redskins, the Browns. All those games are still easy games to win. We just got to go out there and do our job. We're probably not going to win the East. That got solidified today when the Patriots made the Browns their bitch. And I think the Bills are still a wild card team. Things aren't bad. It's time to improve it by making a move for a receiver or a tackle or a defense position we need. But I think this is still a work in progress, but I think we're still on pace on a 10-game win streak. 10-game wins.
Yeah. I'm just kind of starting to reel back my expectations here on being like a 12-4 team or a 13-3 team. It shows that the Bills are human. The kind of thought with Buffalo fans is, hey, this team can't lose. And if they do, it's going to be one of those Patriots thing where there's going to be a caveat, like Josh Allen got knocked out and didn't finish the game.
Exactly.
Now we know that the Bills are beatable. And it's always going to be that the Bills shoot themselves in the foot And it's very rarely going to be the team was better than the Bills.
Yeah, there's a tape on how to beat us now. So
Yeah, run the hell out of the ball. Just stop the offense from controlling it. I mean, Josh Allen. This is what Sean McDermott and Brian Dable have been telling Josh Allen they want him to be. In the last 3 games, he has 6 touchdowns and 1 interception. They want him to take care of the ball. Well, he's taking care of the ball, and now he plays like Tyrod. Awesome. This is an offense that's sputtering, and it's sputtering before, but at least you had maybe the idea of that he would be a big play guy, right? I mean, you had the idea, he could throw a deep pass at any moment. He could make a wild play where he could throw it across his body, which, you don't want it to happen. But now he's this boring, vanilla dude the last 3 weeks, and
He's still not winning us games.
exactly. Like, he's won yet a couple games in the beginning of the season. He's obviously, I mean, I don't think that's still true after today's game. We'd have to wait for the stats to come out on that. But up until today, he was the best fourth quarter quarterback. And I need him to be the best 4 quarters quarterback. Like, I need him to play a full game that's the best to his ability. I feel like if you try to handcuff him, you're going to get a lesser product than what you drafted. You're going to get a lesser playmaker than what you expected at the end of the last season. Like, you want him to make no mistakes. You're going to eventually get him the idea and the mindset that he can't make throws that make the big play. And maybe that's why the deep ball's way off this year, because he's been slapped on the wrist pretty hard about he almost threw the Cincinnati interception. He did throw the Patriots interception twice. The big play probably isn't going to work so well because he's scared to fuck it up. And I'm sorry for the language, but that's going to happen more and more. Like Robert Foster, he almost hit him deep today. Maybe miscommunication, maybe the wind. I don't know where Foster thought that ball was going. But that ball was no more than 2 yards away from him. He could have made a play on it, and the defenders weren't even aware of where the ball was. He could have made that play, went down, just get tackled. He's looking for a touchdown every play. I don't want to get hung up on that play. There's so many little things that the Bills could have done differently to win this game. Corey Bojorquez came out, punted the hell out of the ball, threw a good spin on a wet ball in order to force a fumble. Like, he made that ball uncatchable pretty much. And then someone came down, hit him with it, and then the ball came loose. Like, there's little things you can take away, and you want to look at the bright spots in today's game. I'm going to give you bright spots. There's also a lot of bad things that aren't even from today's game that you need to start taking some stock into. You need to start thinking what's going on, because I want the Bills to make the playoffs. I want them to win a Super Bowl. But they're not going to be able to do it if they keep thinking everything's okay just because they're winning. There's problems. Like, look at Bill Belichick. They were 7-0, and you want to know what they did? They went out and gave away a second-round pick to get a wide receiver to make their team better. Good teams don't just win games. Good teams try to win all of the games. They try to win the next game. They try to blow teams out. They try to get on these teams early. They try to better themselves. They want to beat themselves. They want to beat the team they were yesterday because they want to be better. The Bills have spent 7 game weeks now just being happy with being what they are. You need to try to get better now. Josh Allen has been in the pocket more, and that's something that's good. I'm not going to say he's been sliding more. He's been very coachable this season. I almost admire it. But at some point, the rest of the team needs to become coachable and make some adjustments to be better. Dave. Disagree with me on that.
Josh Allen did not play a bad game today. Josh Allen is not the reason we lost today. I still believe we lost because of the play calling, but Josh Allen is having a good year. He's made mistakes, but I'm okay with him making mistakes because he's taking chances. He's got a couple fumbles today, but that's okay because he was again taking chances. So I don't fault him for the mistakes, and again he is coachable, like Zach said. He is chucking the ball out to receivers. He's all over receivers. I think 8 different receivers is his average for each game. So yeah, he's definitely coachable, and I think next week, a little prediction. I do think next week's the week where he chucks it around and breaks the 300-yard barrier, and I hope he does. I hope he does. So we keep talking about it.
We keep talking about it.
You brought it up.
I know I'm bringing it up, but it's
on Wednesday,
important.
Jake thought this was the game. We keep saying that this is going to be the game. Just fucking do it.
I want it to happen because it needs to.
I'm peeling that back. I'm not talking about it.
I hope he never gets a 300-yard game.
It needs to happen, but it's also something sick.
I don't even care if it happens anymore. Matt Schaub had 460 today in a loss.
That's
Dude
crazy.
hasn't played in
He has
80
the best
years.
receiver in the league too.
He's got John Brown.
Holy shit.
Speaking of John
Jesus
Brown,
Christ.
a former Diamond in the Rough, it's time for our
Good transition.
Diamond in the Rough segment,
The-
sponsored by Prima Pizza Pasta on the corner of West Chippewa and Pearl. Stop in for your daily lunch specials, Monday through Saturday. Stop and say hi to Kev. 2 slices, 1 pop, $6.95.
How's that white pizza?
It's good, Dave.
It's good.
Tell
That's
us
a
about
great
the
deal.
Tell us about the white
This
diamond.
is very hard today. This is a tough one. I know we talked about it, but I'm going to go with Cole Beasley. Congratulations on your diamond in the rough. He had a very big catch in the second half. He got the first touchdown today. It was actually between him and Singletary had some passes that were dropped today. So I ended up giving it to Cole Beasley. Cole Beasley, congratulations on your first diamond in the rough. Jake, take us home.
David, I commend you.
For what?
I mean, everyone knows you missed last week's podcast. And your
You guys haven't
constant dedication really makes me happy.
But,
But nothing.
well, thank you.
Of course.
Bills are winless when Dave misses a podcast.
Holy shit. You can never miss a podcast again. That means you can never fall
I'm going to
asleep.
live on this futon.
Hell yeah.
Again.
All right, Jake, take us to bed.
Get Dave off this futon. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Richard Perks once a week.
Fantasy perks, baby.
Fantasy Perks. Check it out. That's the perks of being a madman. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We're everywhere.
We might be on TikTok soon.
We might even be on TikTok soon. Spotify, iTunes, baby. We're everywhere.
Are we on Instagram?
We're on Instagram. We're on YouTube.
Tell them about the YouTube comments.
Oh my God, Diamond
I like my
Dave
comments.
loves his comments.
Give Beavis what he wants.
Shout out to Justin. Thank you, Justin, for coming up with this fantastic nickname for
It's like
our
a
good
third
friend.
nickname.
Yeah, this is the man of nicknames right here. Well, as always, go Bills.